All right, it is 6 o'clock on the dot, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to the City of Wichita District 2 Advisory Board meeting. I am Megan Tuttle, and it is my privilege and honor to serve on Wichita City Council representing District 2. We are on social media and all the things. This is being recorded, and we do have a quorum this evening. So we'll go ahead and, as we always do, start with introductions. And we'll have all the district advisory board members introduce themselves, say which neighborhood or homeowners association they represent, and then their favorite thing about Wichita, and you can't repeat what somebody else said. So because it's been a bit since we've had the pleasure of seeing Chris in person, we're gonna start with him.
Chris Broderick, I'm near 37th and Woodlawn, Northbrook neighborhood, and favorite thing about Wichita is the nature center, the ways to walk and all the bike paths.
I always like to point out the Nature Center is one of the only in the nation that is a partnership between local parks, state parks, and federal parks. So great project.
My name is Aaron Miller. I represent the Bonnie Brae Homeowners Association. At the moment, my favorite thing about Wichita is Botanica and Christmas lights.
That's our degree.
I was gonna say that.
Sorry, Cal.
Tom Baker, Pine Meadows, the weather
What is it? After we have.
and free parking downtown.
And you're done. Babe?
Faith Martin, I represent the Easter Egg Neighborhood Association, and my favorite thing about Wichita is all of the fun Christmas pop-ups. I like it a lot, and I made a lot of fun going to that all the time.
We didn't notice. We love it, we love it.
I'm Tim Johnson. I represent the Willow Bend neighborhood, 37th Street, North Rock Road. And I'm particularly excited about this year's Wichita State basketball team.
Jim Groff here, and I'm with the HOA of Equestrian Estates or Heritage 127. Almost could have walked here tonight. And thankful for the community, the freedoms, the community, the celebrations for the reason for the season.
Thank you. How about Tracy?
Hey, good evening, Tracy Adams with the Harrison Park community. Well, I was going to say Illuminations, and then the Bonnie Brae guy, he claimed that one. Then I was going to say the weather, and then John, he claimed that. So I'm going to say what I always say when I'm not in Wichita is the people.
Yep. Yep. And Bruce. And your friend. Bruce frozen. We'll come back to Bruce. Teresa, you want to introduce yourself?
Teresa Beasy, I'm the Community Services Representative for District 2, and my favorite thing about Wichita is being able to go on a walk in the brisk fall weather.
There you go. Thank you, Bruce. Looks like we got back to Bruce for a second. You want to tell us your name, favorite, where you represent, your favorite thing about Wichita, and probably also your little guest. I think you're on mute.
Let's
Okay. Let's just go ahead and we'll get Bruce back. We have for him no matter what. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda for this evening, December 9th, 2024. I would entertain a motion to approve.
No move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? No, this is the agenda. Okay, thank you. Motion passes unanimously-ish. Next on the agenda, approval of minutes from November 2024. As always, Teresa did a fantastic job. Any changes or revisions to the minutes? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve. Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Tim. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? You want to abstain? Okay, so anybody else need to abstain because they weren't here? So Chris and John. All right, next we have public agenda. Is there anyone here this evening who would like to speak to an agenda item that isn't on the agenda? I mean, speak about something that isn't on the agenda. Okay, seeing that, we'll just keep going then to staff reports. Don't see police. Correct. And don't see fire. They're exactly where they need to be, I'm sure, but Teresa and I will commit to make sure that we get you all of the data and statistics and send it out within the next couple days, okay? Next, Park and Recreation. John, thank you for joining us. It's always a delight to have you here. I love your enthusiasm.
Well, it's nice to be here for the meeting and have a lot of stuff to kind of go over. John Sidwell, Recreation Supervisor at Boston Rec Center. We got some camps coming up for winter break that people can sign up for. The Kids Connection camps at Edgemore, Linwood, and Orchard are for ages 6 to 12-year-olds. And so people can sign up for that. And then also at Boston, we have our specialty camps where they can sign up for individual special themes like Lego Mania, Nerf Wars, Wonka Chocolate Factory, and Junior Chef Boot Camp, and a couple other themes that they can select from. And then this last Saturday, we had our City Crew Elf event where kids got to come, and ages 2 to 12, they got to kind of go around to different rotations of like arts and crafts, elfish activities, and things like that. And it had a decent turnout. And then our next event is January 11th, which will actually be at Boston Rec Center. It's called Let's Glow Crazy New Year's Bash. And so it's going to be a black light event where we have a bunch of carnival style games and some arts and craft and bingos, and they get to make a glow in the dark cupcake and stuff like that at the event. And then, as we all know, Winter Wonderland is coming up this coming Friday at Napster Park from 6 to 8. We'll be jump starting the event with a couple kids from the Miracle League that will turn on the holiday tree there in the park. And then as far as the director position for Park and Rec has now been open to the public. So now that process has started for searching for the new director. And then we started a new meeting monthly within our department called All Hands on Deck, where kind of all of us get together, each department, golf, administration, us out in the field directors, and forestry. And we kind of get together and we have presentators that come out. This last one that we had, we went over what was called the economic calculator, which kind of allows us to see when we throw on a particular event, how much revenue we're bringing into the city, which is a good tool that we now have access to because it makes it easier to explain to city council kind of some of our effects on the community. And then also for grant writing, it helps with that. So that's what we covered on our, that was our second time meeting because we just started these kind of meetings. And then the cameras that were at Boston, in the park that got vandalized are now replaced and up and functioning. So I was glad that was a quick turnaround that we could get those up and running. Then also we in our department, we're creating an encampment team. I believe, if I recall, it's about 4 people that will be available for dealing with the homeless encampments that are happening in our parks, kind of to help with the homeless outreach team to see if we can kind of combat some of the collection that we get within our parks. But that's kind of all I have going on for right now.
Any questions for John? We don't see any, John. Thank you so much for all you do. It's so important, and I really appreciate the fact that you're going to have cans for kiddos over holiday break. I was talking with a young family today, and they're stressed about what they're going to do when their kids are out of school for almost 2 weeks. So thank you very much for everything that Park and Rec does to make our community better.
No problem. It's the highlight of my job.
I love that. Have a great day.
You too.
Next, we have Public Library and we have John, and I see we also have Jamie as a special guest this evening, the Director of Library Services, so thank you for joining us. But John, you know the drill, if you can name and your favorite thing about Wichita without repeating what someone else said.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Clary. I'm the branch manager at the Rockwell Branch Library. Favorite thing about Wichita right now is the improved excellent streets on East Douglas between Woodlawn and Oliver. It's so smooth and nice. I appreciate all the good streets we have in Wichita, especially East Douglas.
I will pass that on to Public Works.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So today we're just going to go over some of the happenings at the library. And then we do have our partners, our artist partner, going to be here showcasing some of the artists, ideas and design, and get community feedback for our library additions throughout the city. I know if you were out at Rockwell today when I was having lunch, but I'm glad you got to visit today. But first of all, we're going to cover the early closings and closures for the holiday season. The library will be closing at 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve, December 24th, and we will be closed all day on Christmas Day, December 25th. On New Year's Eve, we will be closing at 5 p.m., December 31st, and we will be closed all day on New Year's Day, January 1st. Talk a little bit about our Rockwell new edition update. We have our new edition slab completely board and it's curing as we speak. Next week, they'll be putting up structural steel framing and siding on that structural steel. So you'll actually be able to see some of the new addition flushing out in the next couple of weeks. So everything is on schedule. Things are going smoothly. It's a little loud from time to time, but I believe our construction folks start at 6 a.m. and try to wrap up the loud items like demolition by 11 a.m. So that's going to impact us too much. So we're very appreciative of everything that they're doing. Also give you a quick update on the Westlake expansion and remodel. Key Construction has achieved substantial completion of that remodel at that branch. There's a punch list of items that they still do need to attend to. The automatic material handler was installed, so similar to what we have at the Advanced Learning Library will be installed at Westlake. And also security, audio visual are currently being installed. So that's set to open very shortly. We have a ages and stages questionnaire that we're handing out to parents and caregivers. This is free. It's taken by families for children aged 1 month through 5 years. And this is to see how their child is doing developmentally. So family answers questions about their child in relation to communication, gross motor, which is large muscles, fine motor, which is hands and fingers, problem solving, and personal social questions. These questionnaires are reviewed by staff at the Advanced Learning Library to help families celebrate their child's strengths and then identify where support would be helpful and where it can be received. You can learn more about this program and questionnaire by watching the library's YouTube videos, visiting the Advanced Learning Library Children's Room, and starting the process of this library's Family Access Portal. And all of these are available on the library's website, wichitalibrary.org. Next, our Winter Evolve, which is our publication newsletter of upcoming events. The Winter Evolve Guide is now available electronically and in print at the library locations. This lists all the activities for library, city arts, and parks and recreation. I just wanted to highlight a couple of upcoming events that will be included in that publication. One is the Imagination Playground. This is on Friday, December 20th from 2:30 to 3:30 at Evergreen Community Center at 25th in Arkansas. And also Friday, January 3rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Advanced Learning Library. So this is for preschoolers through 5th grade. It uses the Imaginary Playground's big blue blocks, which are about 4 foot by 4 foot. They're very huge blue blocks. And kids will design, build, and tear down creations. And that's our Imaginary Playground program. And also the Hack the Painting program is coming up. Hack That Painting. It's Monday, December 30th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Advanced Learning Library. This is for ages 5 through 12. Kids will begin with pre-painted canvases and can use acrylic paint to add whatever they might like to the image. Imagination is the limit. Extreme silliness and creativity is strongly encouraged.
Faith and I want to do it, we're really upset.
Seats are limited and tickets will be available 30 minutes before the program in the Children's Pavilion on the first floor of the Advanced Learning Library. So that's about all I have as far as what's happening at the library the next month or so. So if there's any questions, take them out.
Questions for John? Thank you for all the updates and especially about Rockwell. It's great to see the progress and yeah, so he's excited to be at the groundbreaking and we'll be excited to be at the ribbon cutting.
Fantastic.
Excellent. You have a friend with you tonight?
I do. I have my director, Amy Nix is here, and also I'd like to introduce some of the artists here.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you and appreciate your time today. We're giving you lots of library stuff, but when we reopen, I think it's going to be one of the most special places in the area. So, thank you.
Bye, Jake.
This is Allison from Happy.
Hello, all. I'm Allison Raccoon. I'm with Hutton. We are the design build firm that is designing and constructing Alfred, Angelo, and Rockwell. So tonight we have 6 of the artists here, that will be doing pieces at Rockwell. To give you guys a little bit of an introduction to some of their concepts for this, for those of you that don't know, we had an RFQ come out in August, late summer, and we had 138 responses.
That's
which
awesome.
was blew all, I got on number 60 at one point, and I was really excited, so when we got to 138, that was awesome. We narrowed it down and completed an interview process in October, that had Jan Irwin, the public arts manager for the city, Jamie, and a couple of different community members that were part of that interview process. So tonight we have 4 artists here in person and 2 joining via Zoom to talk about what they're doing.
Fantastic.
Okay, let's see if you're at.
All right, so first.
It's going in order there.
Oh, good.
You're first.
Well, hi guys, I'm Chris Garcia. I'm the owner and artist for Brick Mob. Specialize in murals and public art, seen our stuff all over town, I'm sure. So I'll just dive right in. We're doing there's gonna be a teen room inside the library. And we were specifically told that it's teens only. So we wanted to give this something that's for the youth. Which was really exciting for our crew. So 4 of our artists had worked up ideas, including myself, because I was excited. With different ideas and concepts, but we wanted to get some feedback from you guys, since you guys thought too. So this first one is from our artist Joe Morley. He has won the Riverside Fest Design Contest twice, only other person to ever do that. So you've probably seen his style. It's very, it's kind of like a modern anime style, and so that's kind of what he's going with here. Each window of it's kind of hard to tell, but each one of those panels is a different window on the front of this room. And his idea was to have different kind of realms that relate to something about across between pop culture and literature. So, and then the door of the room would have some kind of guardian, like a kind of keep out adults kind of thing. So, I believe it was either gonna be the samurai that's the door keeper. And then the second one's kind of like a realm, and it's kind of just to see on the bottom right of what his influences are for the style he's going for. So a lot of it is like modern animes, there's some old anime, and there's some like newer cartoons in there. And if you notice on the far right, this is very sketchy. That's actually a flying monkey. So the last one was going to be Base Predators boss. So that was his concept for that one. Can I switch? Okay.
Can you turn, is it on? Is it on? No.
Oh, wait. Switch. Yeah, we're good. Why don't you turn it? Yeah. Sorry, wanted something?
No. Okay. I can scroll for you.
Okay, sorry. Next slide, please. There we go. Okay, so this is my concept. Because these are going on windows, and they're gonna be applied to vinyl, they're gonna need to be partially translucent for safety reasons and also give some bit of a seclusion for the kids too, or teens, I should say. So I was going to do something because this is something that we can print digitally and then adhere instead of painting like you normally do, you have limitations when it comes to paint. Whereas this, sky's the limit, because it's getting digitally printed. So I was gonna do a collage style and represent each window in a different book style. And I wanted to showcase major literature works, and then each piece of the art will be created from actual literature books that I'll scan and go through. So of course, I want to include local artists and maybe some prominent figures from Wichita. So yeah, next slide. This one is another one of our artists. He has an idea to do a homage to Romeo and Juliet, because Romeo and Juliet was a novel based around teens. So we wanted to emphasize that because it's a classic literature piece and it's for teens. It's kind of a dual on there. So on the left side is the fight between Tybalt and Romeo. So it's going to be in warm colors and it's supposed to be more dramatic and intense. And the fight scene is, if you're familiar, is the balcony scene with Juliet and Romeo. And it's gonna be in cool colors. And so it's a night scene and a day scene. And again, because this is going to be printed in vinyl, he's going to full color it like actually stained glass. That way, as the light pierces through, it will literally glow like stained glass. Okay, next slide. Just gonna hit these all pretty lightly and then it won't take it too much time. And last but not least, so this is supposed to be more of a chaotic fun one. So if you guys are ever, you remember back from school days, I don't know about you, but my margins from every notebook I ever had were filled with doodles and all kinds of designs and little scribbles and things like that. So that was his idea. It had kind of a Where's Waldo kind of look on all the panels where there's just a cacophony of designs, pop culture, literature references, movie references, all the different things that you think of that might entice teens and beyond, because part of finding a piece of artwork that fit this for teens, they're only a teen for a certain amount of time and they usually don't like anything. So you gotta find something that's like gonna be timeless and yet still work. So this is a good way to like just showcase everything. Yeah. So those are our 4 concepts so far. I'd love to get some feedback if anybody has any thoughts on it.
I really like the last one and the second one. The second one looks a little more like, I don't know, I feel like the teens that I know would really like the second one, but
Yeah.
I love the idea of the doodle and the
The
notebook.
doodle
I
and
thought it
notebook,
was
yeah.
always through high school too, so I really like those two. They're great.
Cool.
I know they're all great, but
Well, no, this is how we do. We all throw in designs and then it's chosen. So we all work together on this.
Great job. Thank you. All right, Teresa, who's next? What's the next one?
Oh, sorry. Lindsay. Okay, if there's a. Yeah, listen.
Hi.
Hello.
Total.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. A local artist and muralist in town, and I got chosen to do the piece that is above the fireplace. So if you go to the next slide, my page. Oh, yes, this shows my inspiration. So the Rockwell branch has this iconic diamond shape that's in the architecture. And so the design came to me with that central image in mind, and then the idea of something kind of exploding out of it. And go to the next slide. So this metaphorically shows like the idea of the impact of the library spilling out into the community. Whenever I do a piece, I like to include a lot of like little Easter eggs or like little hidden details that someone might not pick up at first, and do some like deep research on the history of the branch of the library. So that's kind of my question to you all today. If there's like things that I could include that make it personal to this branch. And I will do research myself, And let's go to the next slide. So closer up image. So what I'm doing is this like painting that also has a bas-relief sculpture in the middle. And so this would be made out of either epoxy or a plaster type situation. And the kind of things that I might include are like details on the spines of the books that have names or things that relate back to the history of this branch. So yeah, so something like F.A. Rockwell, Ford Eldridge Rockwell, or his wife's name. So if there's any ideas, I guess I kind of open that up. There might be.
Well, thank you.
Yes, actually, I spoke to somebody that lives in that neighborhood and they were like, is it gonna be mid-century? Is it gonna be, the art gonna be mid-century? So I'm just kind of sharing that there's a hope that has, I don't know if it's colors or the shape, of mid-century art is very like specific, but like rocket cap kind of thing, but I mean, I love the imagery on there.
Yeah, the central imagery will remain that kind of plaster color, which kind of calls back to like institutions of learning that have this like clean, like marble sculptures, but in a very modern way. It's above a fireplace, it's supposed to be like a warm living room type area. But thank you guys.
Great job.
Next, oh, and that just shows the process of sculpting.
I love the dimension.
This is one of our artists who's joining remotely.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. Like Allison said, my name is Katie, Katie Lukes, and I'm actually based in Chicago. And I was chosen to work on the children's mural, and I wanted to start with just kind of not a blueprint, yeah, I guess a blueprint of the layout, just to give a sense of how this space is sort of interactive. So you see, you know, like, I'm sorry?
Nothing here.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, so between each nook, there's going to be different elements from the mural. And as you can see, I'm in my mood board here. I'm going for something that's not short of color and kind of a very flat style, very graphic and iconic, kind of a collage of different elements that build this world and give a good sense of exploration, whether that's nature or space or animals or people, all interacting and kind of making a scene with the different collaged elements that will go in each section. Yeah, and that's where I'm at, and I'm hopefully that kind of gives a good sense of what I'm looking for, but yeah, definitely open to ideas to get, you know, maybe some local Easter eggs or elements that could be added in. You know, when it's this collage style, we can definitely add in little Easter eggs, sort of like the last artist. I also like to do that. So any suggestions, I'm happy to hear them.
I love the color. Great job, Katie.
Thank you.
Maybe the troll by the river.
Oh,
yeah.
Mike took a little, that was like a whole thing,
That's
so like a
cool.
little troll.
I like that.
That's very Wichita, by the way.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, done. We can absolutely do that. Thank you.
All right, Teresa, last but not least. Okay, I think he's in there. Oh, the folder in there too.
Hi there, I'm Kelly Tompkins from Enid, Oklahoma, just 2 hours south.
Oh, wow. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us, and our favorite new thing about Wichita is the steampunk village. Have you? Yes. Around Northwest and 17th. So anyway, we have fun in Wichita today. So I don't have a concept, I just wanted to show our style and I want to get feedback because I'm not sure, I need some input before I can come up with a concept. I'm impressed with everyone who has come up with concepts. This is, you can go to the next one. But this is kind of that, you can see kind of the style. I was chosen, my husband's here with me, he helps me with everything, my husband Ty. I was chosen for the community meeting room artwork. And they wanted to represent community and inspiration. You can go to the next one. You can see our murals are very just bold and colorful. There's usually some dynamic point to them. And then I have a couple more close-up examples that on the next. I do things that are very symbolic, like this one was, this is actually layers of metal because I didn't want to paint on the vintage tile. And so we, it has 9 different pieces of metal that I painted on 4 different layers. And this was a tribute to a student at an elementary school, is at an elementary school, and a student had passed at age 5.5, or actually 5 3/4. So there are things in here that represent him, the things that he loved. But I do things very just that represent or symbolic more than literal. Let me go to the next one. Thank you. This is the big round top at a local thrift shop, and this was the most abstract one we've done, and it tells a story that I don't have time to tell, but I'm glad to tell you separately if you'd like to know. It tells about Enid and about what the thrift shop does for the community and how it does that. And so I just wanted to show just what our style, what our look is, and then I want to gather some of you go to the next one. I don't know, I think the library, Dawn, you might be able to answer this, I think the library might put some questions on their website, is that right? Okay, and to get input, I would love input from the stakeholders, people who are paying for it, people who are using it. Things like, what is the first word you think of when you go to the library, and what is the library known for? What should it be known for? What's your favorite thing to do at the library? Because it's so much more than books, but it's all kinds of circulation of information. And what's your favorite or most interesting thing about the community or Wichita in general? We also went to Botanica today and enjoyed the sleeping troll. That was one of my favorite parts. So you mentioned the troll so I'm looking forward to gathering information from all of you and the staff and the users of the library over the next week or so that then I can come up with a concept and also any other thoughts of things you want represented in the mural for the community meeting room. So, and then the last one's just same as the first. So thank you all.
Thank you, safe travels, and thank you for coming today. Is that the last one, Teresa, or is there 2 more? Got 1 more, right? 2 more. 2 more, okay. Hello, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I'm sorry. So I got the Rockwell Project 5. Just entry, lobby artwork, and then I'm also kind of not quite stumped on I'm kind of stumped on the concept. I mean, alright, so I kind of like it's gonna be a painting and like and that's gonna fit the wall. And so I guess I just go to the next one. I included like my like artwork and style and stuff. And obviously like when it's in the library, I'm not gonna put people smoking.
Thank you.
Oh, the overall style I'm going for, just expressive, and like when I like to include like collage pieces, so I'm gonna put like a lot of like text and stuff, and a lot of library literature, and stuff. And then go to the next one, let's put some more. Switch some more stuff in my style. There's just the overall idea of I'm gonna be working on this project with my coach. I mean, I have ideas and this is really loose and it's, I don't know, sketches. So I can go to the next one. We'll see those. Actually, so I hope like what I put before my work, these sketches translate. We kind of see the vision of what I'm going for because I gotta still kind of working out the overall composition and whatnot. So I don't know, still kind of figuring that out and playing with that. So like I'm like fully commit, so I got good options. If we go to the next one, there's some stuff rendered out. And so that's about where I'm at right now. So overseeing my style and stuff and like seeing the concepts, like I don't know. translate as well. Or do you have any questions?
Any questions?
I just love it, like a gallery space, kind of what I'm getting, all the different people, different copy color, I really, really like that. Concept on the right, where it's like a lot of people being deep in the space.
Like I really like this library, especially because like me and my family went to this one, you know, much stuff here. And so like I don't know, we spent a lot of time in this library and at the parks and stuff that's right by the library, the Edgemore and skate park and basketball court. So I think it's really cool to be a part of this library. So we'll kind of like, you know, put some of that into this painting project. So
It'll be great. I can't wait to see.
Perfect.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, last but not least, right? Or is that entries? Did we have two online?
Yes.
Hi, can I share my screen? Or hello?
Yeah.
Or I can go with this if you prefer.
Okay, and how about we do that, Teresa can scroll for you, is that okay? Oh.
Yeah. Can I share
Yes.
or do you prefer you scroll?
You can share.
Can everybody see it? Hello? Yeah. Hello everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share my approach for the Wichita Public Library outdoor sculpture today. I'm so excited to work on the project for the Rockwell branch. My name is Susan Lim and I'm an artist originally from South Korea, currently living in Brooklyn, New York. I'd like to start by introducing some of my previous works so you can have better understanding about my artistic approach. Many of these images feature my cloud sculptures in various locations, including Seoul and Springfield, Missouri, and Connecticut and Seoul Museum of Art. I often use clouds as the central element in my artwork to bring natural elements into my creations. My goal is to capture the ephemeral beauty of nature and make it permanent in a unique and inspiring way. My sculpture will be heavily influenced by this artistic vision, and I hope to create an inspirational sculpture for the site in the library. So before presenting my proposal, I want to share a little bit of like my research that I did about the Rockwell branch. I think it was most important for me to see what is the Rockwell branch focused on. This is a map that I checked, and then it service for the family and children and digital inclusion and lifelong learning and leisure activities and improved accessibility and including a new drive-through. All this after I learned a lot of things about the build, how it functions and how it provides to the community. I learned these two key elements standing out. The library's role as a hub for many visitors and its vision for creating a welcoming space for learning and community. So this is the site. And I chose the concept of silver lining as a positive and meaningful metaphor for my artwork. Silver lining refers to the hopeful and comforting aspect of a challenging situation. The phrase, every cloud has a silver lining, reminds us that every moment holds the potential for something good. So this idea resonates with the library's role as a place for dreaming, learning, and envisioning a bright future. Imagining the sun shining behind the clouds, creating a glowing silver outline, this visual becomes a metaphor for navigating challenges and looking forward to a bright future. I want to share a couple of ideas that I thought and that came up in my mind. And this is the first one. And I've always seen clouds as a strong metaphor for thoughts and dreams. In a library, we engage in reading, learning, thinking, and growing. The processes that mirror the formation of ideas and aspirations, much like clouds in the sky. So these are the initial sketches and that inspired by the library's essence and the concept of clouds. And I have one more images that I would like to share here. And this image is more emphasizing the rain from the clouds as a symbol of celebration. Yeah, so far. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I would love to get any feedbacks. Yeah, thank you.
Last one, that is so cool. Great job. Any questions? All right, well, thank you for being here with us this evening. Thank you to all the artists for sharing your talent. I'm a proud member of the Wichita Arts Council Board of Directors, and I say all the time that I'm a huge advocate for the visual and performing arts because I have absolutely no talent of my own. And so anyone who will share their talent with us, I'm most grateful. Just a quick point of privilege, every 3 years, the city of Wichita does the Arts and Economic Impact Study through the Americans for the Arts. And we found in 2023 that just from the non-for-profit sector of arts, so not, last night, just Timberlake or the Warren Theater, arts generates $185 million to our local economy every year. It's ticket sales, it's purchase of art, it's you go to dinner before you go to the theater, you have a cocktail after the ballet, you have to pay for childcare, you come from Oklahoma and you have to get a hotel. So it's just a huge economic impact and employs over 3,000 full-time positions. And that's not all just artists, it's the CEOs, it's the accountants, it's the stage design, it's all the people that are involved to make art happen. So just a huge advocate for literacy and the arts, and when they come together, I'm happy. So thank you so much. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. I see that Fire has joined us. Would you like to give your report? Or do you just want to sit and watch the pretty art?
Mike Crowley, Battalion Chief, Battalion 3, which is the east side of Wichita. It's been a while since I've been here with you. I'd like to claim home field advantage here tonight, but I look forward to getting back to the library. I missed that part. When is that going to be ready to hold?
John, when will we go back? It'll be
Late summer, it's gonna be late summer. We're gonna invite you to the Maya Angelou branch. You're welcome to meet there. Just as soon as that branch is finished, we'll take Rockwell completely offline. Sorry.
I always stumble through this. Something I like about Wichita, I'm not gonna escape that. Basketball season's here. So I hope you're floating, encourage everybody to get involved with Wichita State. I've been going to games for a long time, and it's amazing when you look back and see where they were, and they need to get back there. They were on top shelf in the entire country for years. So hopefully people will get involved, but Wichita State basketball, that's what I like. Not a lot going on, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, I came from an apartment fire on Rock Road, which was nothing, but I don't have my December report for me, so. But with that said, District 2, I can't think of any significant fires or events, and maybe you guys can refresh me, but I personally have it. Everything seems to be outside of District 2 on the fringes. So that's a good thing. We all know the winter months are coming. I don't know what's going on outside, but I love it with the milder temperatures. But when the cold weather hits, that's when we see an uptick in activity. The homelessness stuff is continuing to be an issue. We had one the other night at Bonnie and Oliver. And that's about it. Clean your flues. You guys burn in your fireplaces. That should be an annual activity. Get them inspected.
Be careful with Christmas tree lights, candles.
Trees.
If you're frying a turkey on Christmas.
Skip the Thanksgiving, the fried turkey, my annual deal on if you change your light or change your smoke detectors, clean your oven, because it's right before Thanksgiving. Yes, sir. LED lights, are they better? Yeah. Or as fires, trees, houses? They're better, yeah, you know, with the old, what, incandescent bulbs, there's that heat produced there, LEDs. The load on the electrical system is not what it was. It lasts longer, they're brighter, I like them.
Absolutely.
Last question, what about cause and origin of the fire at Independence School? It was last Christmas. I don't know. I can look it up, try to find out if I to. I'll give you information. An outbuilding,
yeah.
you know why it was.
I happen to be driving by it.
Oh,
It happened. Yeah.
There was a swimming pool in there at one time? Yes. Yes. It was old wine and. Yeah, okay, now you, I've lost a lot of sleep since then, but, yes. There was nothing going on in that facility, so don't quote me, but somebody was in there, I think that's what the outcome was. I don't think it was an active, or I don't think it was any utilities, it was a wide open vacant building. But, I can get back to Becky on that. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll make sure I forward
But
it.
yeah, that was a pretty significant fire. It was, plus there's access issues, the location, the deterioration of the building. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so at Hunter and Kellogg on the south side, we've seen it like with our eyes.
Hunter and Kelvin.
Yes, there've been a couple small fires.
Fourplexes.
It's before the fourplexes, it's by like the businesses that are right there on the frontage road. I think the businesses they're abandoned buildings, so we've
Right.
seen some homeless encampments there, we've done a great job of hot teams come out, but we've seen a couple small fires there. Last year, and we've already seen one this year, so I just kind of wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yes,
Because it's not like there's a building on fire, you can tell
no.
that it's like a.
But, just the other morning at midnight at Colleen and Oliver Dollar Tree, somebody, I hate to throw the word on the homeless or. Somebody started an exterior fire and it went straight up to the roof. So the smallest of fires are a problem, especially those hours of the night when there's not a lot of people and activities going on that don't recognize them.
You want us to call 911 for that?
Yes.
I felt like, okay.
Yes, I'm not gonna tell you no.
Okay.
No, you call the police.
That's right.
No. Yeah, absolutely. We get nuisance complaints all the time.
Well, I don't wanna call the police on the homeless, I just, if there's, I don't want a
No.
fire to get out of control.
Right, well, that's, it starts small and then it goes up. They can just check on
Yeah.
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 No, and depending on what's going on, we get them as unknown fires all the time, check smoke in the area. And a lot of times it's just that drive-by activity that kind of spurs people, so. Yep, not a problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And you said you'll send us any data you have. If you got it.
Yeah, I stupid me, and to be honest, tell on myself. I looked down to what I had, thought I was good, I ran and hurried, it says November, so
Yeah, you're good.
we don't remember over again.
No, you're good. All good. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Merry
service.
Christmas to everybody.
Yes, be safe. I know that we approved this evening's agenda, but if it's okay, I'd like to take a point of privilege. The agent for PUD 2024-0025, item number 8, has another item to present at DAB 6. And so if no objections from the district advisory board, I would recommend that we move item 8 in front of item 7. Is that okay with everyone? All right, Brad. You're it. We're gonna do PUD 2024-0025 first.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Brad Etherly, Senior Planner for MAPD. We will discuss, first case PUD 2024-00025. For this request, the applicant is requesting a zone change from SF5 single family to the PUD to create the northeast substation planned unit development. It's 24.3 acres in size. And is generally located on the east side of North Woodlawn Boulevard and within 1/2 mile south of East 21st Street North at the location of 1802 North Woodlawn Boulevard. The subject site is currently developed on one lot with an existing substation and then another lot to the east undeveloped. Both lots are identified as parcel one in the PUD, and the applicant is proposing to expand the existing substation. The applicant also intends to currently replat the site. A utility major is permitted by conditional use approval in all zoning districts. PD does allow for uniform and custom provisions for the development. And for this one, they're just looking for utility major and associated equipment. The applicant has indicated that in the PUD, that landscaping not be required, and this would require a variance if it was a conditional use instead of the PUD. But if the PUD is proposed, it could eliminate the need for the conditional use and the variance. Staff is recommending that landscaping is included in the PUD language. If you can see in the language at the back. So landscaping would be required if the DAP would make that recommendation and the city council took that. The PUD is also proposing that screening be formed by precast concrete panels, cast in place concrete fence, or other high security solid fence or chain link fence that should be no more than 10 feet in height and are allowed to be placed within the setbacks. The UCC states that a maximum height limit would be 8 feet for screening walls, and a request for a taller wall would typically require a variance in standard zoning districts. The UCC also prohibits the use of chain link fence as a screening material, and staff would recommend the PUD text be modified to remove the chain link fences. The proposed PUD language indicates that there would not be a requirement for landscaping, as I stated earlier. Let's see. And then the PUD language also indicates that there would not be a requirement for parking. And then setbacks would be according to the SFI zoning district standards. The character of the neighborhood is mostly low density residential. Property to the north is zoned SF5 and is developed with a place of worship. You can scroll to the zoning map. Should be right underneath. Yeah, thank you. Other property to the north is zoned MF18, multifamily residential, and it's developed with an assisted living and agricultural uses. And then properties to the south are zoned SF5 and TF3, single family and two family residential, and are developed with the Redwood Trail and the Wichita Fire Station 14. Also single family dwellings and multi-family dwellings south of the trail. And then properties to the east are zoned MF18 are developed with single family dwellings. And then lastly, properties to the west across North Woodlawn are zoned SF5 and are developed with, I'm sorry, those are backwards. Properties to the west are single family, properties to the east are developed with those agricultural uses. So the subject property is not platted. The applicant has stated that plat platting will take place concurrently with this application. And the subject site has access to Woodlawn Boulevard, and all city services are provided. And there is no Wichita Transit service to this area. I don't think it's going to be really needed that much. As far as plans and policies go, it is in conformance with the Community Investment Plan 2035. That map, scroll down to that. Here's the next thing down. And thank you. You can see that it is designated for residential and employment mix. However, with the substation that's currently there, staff does believe that this is an appropriate use for this property. The proposed rezoning is in conformance with the Wichita Places for People plan. Just dealing with infill, so the existing substation being expanded upon is seeing this being in conformance. And based off the information, we go to the site plan. So this is looking east from basically North Woodlawn. The first one to the right is looking north. And then, the bottom left hand corner is kind of looking north away from the property. And then the bottom right is looking east away from the property. There should be no more. That's kind of looking east down Redwood Trail, top left, and then top right is looking south, I believe, at the fire station. And then bottom left is looking across the lawn, down Redbud, and that bottom right is looking west across to the single family homes. I don't know if there's any more. Doesn't look like it. Okay. So we do recommend approval of the PUD with modified language of the PUD language. And this is based off the golden rules, and we have not received any comments from the public. And with that, I can stand for any questions.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go through our normal process, and I'll explain that in a second, but to our lovely friends who are here for Rockwell, if you would like to stay, you are more than welcome, but also it's not at all inappropriate for people to leave after their agenda items. So just wanted to give you that heads up. But what we'll do is District Advisory Board will ask questions. We do have two members of the advisory board who are on Zoom, so Teresa will help me keep an eye out for them in case they have questions. And then we'll have the applicant come up and see if there's any questions. And then if there's any questions from the community or members of the audience, and then we'll come back to the DAP and make the decision. So with that, does anyone in the District Advisory Board have any questions for Brad? And I do want to make a comment, I'm sorry, I have received no ex parte communications from any community member nor the applicant. And also, I see that it hasn't gone to MAPC yet, but we'll go on Thursday, so.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Anybody have any questions, concerns?
Yeah, on the precast concrete panels, is that gonna look like it looks at Connie and Oliver?
I'm not exactly sure what it looks like at Funny and Oliver, but there are several around town that have kind of had that.
Just a gray wall. all the way around.
Typically, yeah.
And so what's been asked to not do any landscaping around those walls?
So the applicant has asked to not have any landscaping. We as staff think that having landscaping on the side will help enhance some of that. And kind of buffer between residential uses. And just kind of make it look a little bit nicer.
Who would maintain the landscape?
I'm sorry?
Who would maintain the landscape?
It would be up to the property owner.
Which generally. They put nice stuff in, they don't want it to die. That's better, it's not even good.
I do believe they're required to keep it up for at least 2 years. But after that.
My suggestion might be whatever landscaping staff requires, it be as close to zero maintenance as possible. An 8-foot deck. At 15 miles an hour mowing it might be soft berms. Because these things do get looking ratty. This thing set several hundred feet back from Woodlawn. But it fortunately has the trail as a buffer as well. But it'll get looking pretty snarky. If you require much in the way of plantings that just can be let go to do their natural thing.
Sure.
I have questions. I'll pause for the sniggers. What will be behind the wall?
That would
That's the
be-
existing substation. Where will the extension go?
That would be a question I think that the applicant or the agent would be able to answer.
And I would expect, there's a lot of ground there, so it may end up being a decent site for staging and storage of large materials. And I would expect those to be behind as well. They're not gonna put conductor over there when it's stolen. Unless they're gonna secure it much more than I expect, and there are a lot of drainage issues over there, so there may not be a whole lot of development, but I would expect it in partial and summary. allowable uses, electric substation and associated equipment. That doesn't even apply to my mind, the storage of poles, transformers, et cetera. But that land implies that it may have some value for that. Just something to think about as you converse with them. My last point or question is the roadway, and I put that in air quotes because it's basically a beaten dirt path. It's just that. Is there any conversation or requirement? I didn't see any requirement that be stabilized in some way, shape, or form.
No, and it's basically a driveway to the substation and you know, it's existing as such, planning and zoning. We're not terribly concerned about requiring pavement going forward, so.
I wouldn't be looking for pavement, but some sort of rock.
It would be
stabilizing.
Sure, I mean, it would come to the applicant to maintain it however they see fit for their trucks and their equipment going back there.
Yeah, they're generally pretty good about that, but I'm in the utility business as well, and I look at that as being a headache. That's all I have.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one, the existing fence around that I think is chain link now. And then the one that I'm thinking in between Woodlawn and Rock has like brick pillars with like wrought iron between it, I believe, some netting. So my question is, what do you do for the existing one if we're requiring a wall around the expansion? Will they?
Sure. It would actually be required for the existing as well, because going forward, it would be for the whole property there that they would have to comply with, so it would be transforming whatever, that's a bad word, considering they would be putting that chain link into a precast concrete, like that.
So it will go back and they'll have to fix that too.
Guys, I apologize. This is Rebecca Milius with PEC. I'm also over at DAB 6 this evening. Just a couple of answers, and then I've got to hop over because they're actually presenting my case right now as well there. All of the equipment will sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So all of the equipment will be contained within the substation. There will not be additional storage. And to Brad's point, yes, everything will be within a masonry fence to include the old substation. And I don't know who brought it up, but the drainage area, you're right, we can't expand too far to the east. The limits are shown on the site plan about how far we can expand. And the supporting plat application will handle how we're meeting the standard drainage requirements. Our concern on landscaping, to the point that was brought up, is maintenance, but it's also the type of landscaping required often can bring animals and other deterrents into the substation, which can be very challenging to maintain the internal equipment. So our hope was to utilize the existing tree buffer on the south side of the trail as sufficient buffer, which is why we drafted the language that is presented. We'd be in support with continuing to work with staff to find the right landscaping parameters if you'd consider that. So I would happy to answer any other quick questions, but I do have to jump. I'm so sorry my coverage got sick, so I'm having to do two things tonight.
Any other questions for?
I guess just for point of reference, she said they won't store stuff, but there's storage in one of the pictures outside of the fence right now.
I believe that's for the active construction. They're doing some maintenance work on the existing sub right now, but I will verify and be sure that that's not the case, or that there's no additional storage.
Sounds good.
So sorry, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck at 6. We're better. Any other questions from the district advisory board? Okay. Anyone here from the community? Don't think so. Bring it back to the bench.
I would like to move approval of PUD 2024-0025. with, based on the staff, comments, which includes, no chain link fence and landscaping per the city code. I will leave it at that.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion passes unanimously and we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was here this evening. 8, we're voting 8 of 11.
Thank you so much.
So, yeah, we have a quorum. So we're gonna go back to item number 7 now. Thank you for the flexibility. This is zoning 2024-00051. Brett, you're up again.
Yes, as she stated, we are looking at case zone 2024-00051. For this case, the applicant is requesting a zone change from LI limited industrial to MF18 multifamily residential in order to permit a residential development. The 20.96 acre property is generally located on the side of North Greenwich Road and within 1/4 mile north of the 7th Street North. Property is currently used for agricultural purposes, and the applicant would like to develop residential uses that are not permitted in the LI district. The MF18 multifamily residential district does accommodate moderate density residential development, including single family, 2-family, and multifamily residences at a maximum density of 17.4 dwelling units per acre. That would allow for up to 364 units on the property. Their table in the staff report that shows these development standards that would change from LI to MF18. And this would also include compatibility setbacks and height standards that would apply on the north and west portions of the site, because the site is within 500 feet of the rural residential district. If the subject site is developed with single family dwelling or duplex grading standards or landscape street yard shall apply. If it is developed with anything more than that, it would be required on north and west property lines. And the property was annexed to the city just on October 11th of this year, so it would need to comply with the Wichita landscape ordinance. And the applicant would be required to submit the landscape plan prior to building permits. They would also be required to adhere to the off-street parking schedule, which includes for multifamily 1.25 parking stalls per efficiency in 1 bedroom and 1.75 parking stalls per 2 bedroom or larger units. This property does lie within area C of the airport hazard map, and that means that it has a 150-foot height limit, which will not be met. The character of the neighborhood is a mix of residential and light industrial zone. Property to the north is zoned RR and is developed for agricultural uses. Property to the east and south is zoned LI and is owned by the applicant and developed for agricultural uses currently. I would assume that will change soon. And then property to the west across North Greenwich Road is zoned RR and is also developed for agricultural uses. The subject site is unplatted, but platting should be taking place currently. If not, it will be taken very soon. And it's required prior to the issuance of any building permits. I have a little bit more about that. I'll say it at the end. In 2017, the site did receive a zone change for approval from RR to LI. And then again, in October, subject site was annexed into the city. Subject site has access to North Greenwich Road, which is a 2-lane paved arterial street without sidewalks. Water currently exists in the North Greenwich right of way. However, sewer services would need to be extended about 2/3 of a mile to this from about 2/3 of a mile to the south. And Wichita Transit does not serve the subject site. Zone change is in partial conformance with the community investments plan. The 2035 future growth map recommends a small part of the southern portion as appropriate for new residential, while the remainder of the site is appropriate for agricultural uses. You can scroll down to that. It's the next one down. You can see just a little bit of it kind of catches that new residential. Let's see. This area of the city is experiencing urban development. And that's the category of the new residential. So we kind of believe that this is a logical progression within the residential category. If we can go to side pics. One of those was looking east. I think it's the top left one. My eyesight is not doing so well. And then looking south. It's hard to tell from the pictures. And then looking west and then looking north. Yeah, thank you. They're all, it's just a bunch of open land. Based off of the information given, staff does recommend approval. And this is based off the code rules. We haven't had any kind of public comment. I will say that just this afternoon, the agent is here. I did get a call from Jay stating that the current owner, this is a situation where the current owner is trying to sell land to a purchaser. And the current owner wants to basically have this as a condition that if the land is not platted within a year, it does not go forward with the zone change. We don't do conditions on zone changes, but we could, if you guys felt it to be necessary, to kind of put a protective overlay on it, that if it doesn't get platted within a year, that the zone change doesn't take place. We are not 100% sure, since this kind of came in late this afternoon, that would be something that legal would be okay with, but we would want to check with them if you so decided. And MAPC did not hear that portion of the request, so it would require, if you did decide to do that, for it to be non-consent, which is fine. But I just wanted to kind of give you all the information, and I'm sure Jake can explain some of that as well when he comes up. But having said all of that, I can stand for any questions.
Questions for Brad from District Advisory Board? Okay, seeing none, would the applicant like to meet? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you?
No, I can. I bring it after. It doesn't really matter.
You're right. And I did forget to mention, and I apologize, I have no ex parte communication with community members nor the applicant.
Thank you. Jay Cook, Boston Company, 315 South Hills here in Wichita. I'd like to point out that Mr. Ellerly did not tell you all his favorite thing about Wichita.
Oh, thank you.
So what's your?
Sorry.
Mine remains to be the amazing city council that we have. And I'm.
Little pandering.
I'll keep that answer whether it's not, I'm still a big bird or not.
And I will write a comment when he comes up. Thank you for the reminder.
Anyways, do you have a quick question, or you like to kind of go over what we want to do here?
Well, question / comment, my thoughts. This is a good location for this zoning. My thoughts are the following. And I know we have a landowner who wants to sell to a willing buyer, and this is why we're leapfrogging development outside of town. And I'm sure you can guess that I'm not doing cartwheels over extending sewer 2/3 of a mile north past farm fields, which is what's there right now. Does the development pick up any of that sewer extension? Who's paying for that? Is that just the ratepayers of the city of Wichita?
That would probably be put on specials on the property owner. It would be through tax specials.
Well, I know that the internal sewer system will be put on special assessments. I'm referring to the sewer that's gonna run up, what are we on, Greenwich Road from the south.
Just scroll that up a bit, or scroll up on the thing so I can see them.
You're saying from the existing neighborhoods to
Yeah.
So there's currently, go to the zoning one, I guess, would be great, one more up. Where is the zoning map that was down? There, okay, so in the gray corner of that PUD right there, there's currently sewer going to that, that's. Couple hundred feet south, it's on the northeast corner of 37th and Greenwich, that's a PUD that we have also done. There's sewer to that.
Or what?
There's already sewer to that area, I believe,
But it has to go all the way up.
and it'll go up to
This
that
box.
as well.
It's my recollection that the extension of the big main would be on the ratepayers, and the cost of all the sewer within the plat itself is going to be spread by specials. And that the buyers or renters of that property will be paying for that system. I'm just seeking clarity. Is that what?
I believe what you're saying is correct.
All right, all right.
Yes, I don't want
I just.
to answer too much in the affirmative, but that's typically how we do these developments.
Okay.
Is exactly what you're
So
describing.
I want DAB board members to understand that the city ratepayers in on that part of the sewer system. And that.
And I truly appreciate that, but if we remember, the intention of this body is just to determine if this is appropriate use.
Yeah, oh, that's true that, right, true that.
It's eventually gonna get developed anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, we put this gray box on the black box.
Why slow down development?
The, my other comment was, I cannot vote to approve that sunset. That is not, it is not legal as I understand it, so I will not be voting to approve the sunsetting of the zoning change.
On condition of plat.
Yeah.
Okay.
The overlay.
Yeah, and to be fair, we're going through the planning process now. It was heard at subdivision a couple days ago, or last week. It'll be heard at planning commission this week, the plat bill. So this is just a insurance for the seller. And if you don't feel comfortable or it's not allowed to vote that way, I completely understand it. I think we'll be fine. But we're-
Regardless of the zoning, it can still be an ag use.
Right.
If it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Does anyone have questions for Jay?
Do we know if it's, is it single family homes, is it a building?
They're wanting to do, actually apartment, will be multifamily up there. I think with the growth of south of 37th and all the single family homes there, it felt like a good. Kind of up a little ways away from that would be a good place for multifamily. So it'll be an apartment complex is the plan.
Couple driveways, one driveway.
I'm not 100%. We'll work with whatever the traffic said. I would imagine it'll be one because putting two entrances in that traffic may, they may not.
Well, it depend on fire too.
And fire and traffic are gonna say we have to be X amount of feet apart. We may not be able to meet that. It's based off the land, but I would imagine it'll be one entrance and then maybe some cross connection with what hasn't been developed in between the PUD and ours up there as well, so.
Any other questions for Jay?
More of a comment, but I'd like to say that I'm sure all of this in this map will be full of homes before very long at all. But I'd ask the city to continue to keep an eye on the drainage and I know the plating is a Corps of Engineer thing, but that I live on a creek not very far west of there and 2 inches now equals 4 foot of water behind our home. So as everything keeps developing north, it all runs downhill, so.
We definitely work with the city on drainage when it's a play, but that's something that they pay close attention.
It's a big concern of citizens.
Hey, is there anyone from the community who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, thank you, Jay. We will bring it back to the bench.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, any discussion?
I just appreciate any time we have development for our public streets that we have, otherwise I'm very. I approve of this a lot, anytime we can bring housing, and you're right, there's so much more development, I bet in 10 years, that's all.
Right? Okay, seeing no other discussion, thank you for the comment. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Excellent, thank you so much. Thanks for the discussion. Thank you for being here this evening. And Brad, big
Before Jay leaves, I wanna say that my favorite thing about Wichita are the great agents that I work with.
there you go. And then we'll bring right back in.
No, actually, my favorite thing about Wichita.
I'll take it back.
I love libraries and, you know, having libraries and, discuss the things that they're doing. I was on the library board at the previous city that I was in. And so, Wichita has some great libraries. I live on the west side, so I'm excited about what that new library will be like when it's completed, so.
So this is CUP 2024-0040. Last but not least.
Correct.
The chalet.
Once again, Brad Everly, WPD for discussing CUP 2024-0040. This is a request for a major amendment to parcel 2B of CUP BP 194. This subject site is 2.53 acres in size and is zoned GC general commercial and is generally located on the east side of North Instrument Street and within 400 feet north of 29th Street, located at 3030 North Instrument Street. The applicant seeks to amend the provisions of the CBD to allow entertainment establishment in the city as a permitted use on that parcel. The property is in use as a restaurant and would like to add karaoke entertainment. Because of the definitions of all of the entertainment establishment and things like that, this would be an accessory use to that restaurant and requires the amendment. Everything is actually in pretty good order with this. There would not need to be any new parking or anything like that. And so we'll just go straight to the character of the neighborhood. It's mostly commercial with multifamily residential nearby. So what happens is normally when you have an entertainment establishment within 300 feet of residential, you would have to get a conditional use. But the amendment to the CUP kind of takes care of that situation. It kind of acts as a conditional use instead of the actual use. But property to the north is zoned GC within the CUP and is developed with a warehouse office combination. And property to the south is zoned LC limited commercial, is also within the community unit plan. It's developed with a small strip development. Property to the east is zoned M29, and it's that multifamily residential that I spoke about. It's kind of the cause for the amendment to be heard as a major amendment. And then property to the west of the site, across North Vincent Street is on LC and is within the CUPDP 111 and is developed with the medical office. And then other property to the west is on GC in that same 111 community unit plan and is developed with a parking lot and a loading dock for the large country box store. And so a little bit of case history. In 1990, the CUPDP 194 was created. On June 11th, 1996, the subject site was platted as part of the Home Design Center 3rd edition. There was an amendment to parcel 2B in 2013 that approved the tavern and the drinking establishment. And then just a little bit of history about the community unit plan as a whole. In 2014, an amendment to parcel 1, which is north of the parcel, to the north of this parcel. They received a nightclub in the city amendment. However, because the conditions of approval were not met, the case was closed and considered denied. So it did not actually see its way all the way to fruition. The site does have access to North Instrument Street, which is a 2-lane local street with sidewalks on both sides. Wichita Transit does have service at the northwest and southeast corners of North Rock Road and East 30th Street North. And then also at the northwest and southeast corners of North Rock Road and East 32nd Street North. And municipal services already serve the site. The requested CUP amendment is in conformance with the community investments plan. And scroll down to that, Teresa. That map identifies the areas appropriate for commercial uses. And so the staff believes that an entertainment establishment is an appropriate use for this site. And then it's also in conformance with the locational guidelines, basically, where development is occurring or supporting infrastructure is located. We can go to the site pics. So that's looking north, into the building of the site, with some parking in front of it. And then the second picture is looking north away from the site. That bottom left-hand corner is looking east into the multifamily residential next door, and then that's looking south of the strip development to the south. And you can scroll down. This is kind of looking southwest away from the side of the medical office, and then looking west at the parking lot / loading dock for Walmart. And with that, we do recommend approval. You might notice that there are some conditions, that the CUP for parcel 2B already states that no outside loudspeakers or entertainment is permitted, but we are just kind of encouraging that to be strengthened, and that entertainment shall occur between 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. So they would have a start time noon and end time of midnight, and this is all just indoor karaoke entertainment. So we haven't received any public involvement except for one question. I was just curious about what the request was, and with that, I can see for any questions.
Okay, before we have questions, for Brad, just two points of privilege. I have received no ex parte communication from the applicant nor anyone in the community. And thank you to Tyler York for joining us right at the end, but at least you'll get to get a vote, but we just want to make sure for the record, we know that you're here. Any questions for Brad and Simon?
Is this currently an active restaurant bar at the moment? It is on.
Correct, it's a Korean restaurant, I believe.
I have a question. Teresa, could you scroll to the community unit plan illustration, please? It's the one that looks like a plat.
One more, I think. It's actually one more after that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so your illustration, the report references parcel 2B, but that parcel is almost 3 times the size of the colored outline on your other illustrations. Are we changing it for the entire parcel or just for this property?
No, it would actually be for the entire parcel.
Okay.
But it's just kind of showing what
the use is going to be in it. Okay, that's all I had.
One question I have, could you kind of explain the reasoning behind the hours? So the restaurant right now, it's open later, so it would just be the karaoke?
Yeah, we actually, kind of as a department have decided that any kind of entertainment, establishment, especially when they're within 300 feet of residential, having a midnight cutoff of that is just kind of standard now. And so we include that. If you feel that it's worthy to change that, then that's fine, but we just kind of feel like when it's that close to residential, midnight's a good cutoff time.
Are they okay with that?
But they have not said anything to us about it, so I assume they're okay with it.
No,
the
applicant.
Yeah, they have not indicated.
They're fine with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice compromise for the resident.
So you chicken and pickle and all those places around there, are they open too?
There's
Like,
Well, this
might be that close.
Well, this set of rules would only be for the karaoke machines.
What's that?
This would only apply to the karaoke.
Just do the entertainment stuff. They can still operate as a restaurant. They're allowed to.
Because
They're
there's
just
a
gonna
bar
take the
just
mic.
one. That would be open till 2.
Take the mic at midnight. And then turn the radio on even louder. This used to be the chalet and they.
Yeah.
Were way louder hours.
Outside.
Any other questions for Brad? There's no one here from the public who would like to make a comment, so bring it back to the bench.
I will move to approve the staff recommendation.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Anyone dreadfully opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Brad, we now have 9 votes voted. Okay, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Any other updates, issues, or reports from board members? Seeing none, just a note, the next time, thank you to the documenter, appreciate it. The next time we'll be here will be January 13th of 2025. So we went through another year very quickly. Thank you for your service, truly appreciate it. And really grateful for your time and your hard work, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Becky, can I make a
Yes.
favorite thing real quick?
Please.
And a plug of why I was late.
Yes.
At the Arthritis Foundation, their local chapter, they're gearing up for their Jingle Bell Run on Saturday, which will start at Botanica and run up and down the river. My wife and I will be running in it, so not too late to sign up if you want to run a 5K, but if not, please show up and cheer on those that are running.
And Tyler, how much have you raised?
Nearly $5,000
Thank you.
in my own receipts, but yeah, thank you.
No, thank you so much. I'm always so impressed the non-for-profits. So thank you for a very worthy career. So thank you.
Sorry I'm late.
No problem. So we had a motion to adjourn, right? And a second?
Second, yeah, second.
Tim seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, you can stay. Thank you. We'll see you next year. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Great for the council meeting.